Good morning. How is everybody? Hope everybody's having a beautiful morning. My name is Red, and you are with Daily Devotions with Red Moon Eagle. Those of you who normally join me Monday through Friday, I am live most days, Monday through Friday. Yesterday, I woke up with a headache, so I apologize. I woke up with a headache. I took something for it because it was so bad that I wasn't even going to be able to get out of bed. And then when I woke up later, it was way past Daily Devotional, and I went, okay, that's starting over tomorrow. And sometimes that's just the way it works. So today is Tuesday. It is 7:01, and we are in the tide of destruction, winter solstice to spring equinox. And we're going to start right into our cards today. This in the Sacred Self-Care Oracle, number 40, Pleasure. I am worthy of pleasure. Our bodies are magnificent temples of joy, bliss, and ecstasy awaiting exploration. Most of us have an upbringing filled with limited perspectives about how we can experience pleasure and what is appropriate. Breaking free from constrictive perspectives can re-explore our bodies with our senses, find new and more profound experiences of pleasure. The journal prompt today is, what kind of pleasure do you want to call into your life? Okay, Wild Unknown Animal Spirit Guidebook. Our card today is the Hawk. The hawk, watchful, all-seeing, messenger of divinity. The sharp eyes of the hawk watch our every move. This keen-eyed bird has the ability to see every little detail as well as the bigger picture. When this card appears, fate has its eye on you and the winds are shifting. It is said that the hawk carries news upon its wings and is sent from divinity itself to deliver it. The message should not be taken lightly, though it may seem small or insignificant. It will eventually redirect your course. When in balance, sees clearly and intuitive. When out of balance, sees too much and suspicious. To bring into balance, perspective shift. Okay. And then in the Mystical Shaman Oracle, we have the Coyote, number 12. The essence of coyote is the symbol of the sacred trickster, the one who provides detours for growth and understanding by ensuring that things don't go as planned. The coyote brings the energy of divine deception to set you free from the shackles of that which doesn't serve you. Sometimes it appears that you will get everything you want, only to find that coyote brings you the opposite of what you hoped for. The lesson offered by coyote may first appear confusing, but they are the most sacred and always for your highest good. The invitation of this card. If coyote calls to you, this is a time to pay special attention to detours and disappointment, as they are the true test of faith. You have set your intentions and turned them over to the Great Spirit, yet you find yourself lost and confused when it appears you're being led off course, off the path leading to your most cherished dreams and desires. Remember this. Coyote is a sacred trickster and may be leading you into challenges to ensure that you are ready to handle what you've set in motion. Great growth and understanding come to you when coyote calls your name. The medicine of coyote okay. Are you being seduced by what you think you desire? Could it be that you are more superficial, sparkly, shiny aspects of your ambition led you to this moment? Perhaps you feel that in order to get what you desire, you have to compromise yourself, control others, or manipulate situations to ensure your goal is met. Coyote howls in the shadows to remind you that this may be a lesson too painful to learn. Beware the shallow waters right now. Something or someone might pretend to be deep, but it doesn't make them so. No matter how seductive their superficial traits or how beautiful their sparkly they appear, all that glitters there will not turn up gold, no matter how many wishes you make to change that. Coyote has always been very powerful medicine for me. So we're going to go back to the first one. As I was looking at these this morning, I thought, wow, these cards don't seem to go together at all. Like normally they go together pretty well. And then I went, oh yeah, I get it. Okay, never mind. I got it. So, pleasure, the mantra. I am worthy of pleasure. What kind of pleasure would you call, journal prompt, what kind of pleasure do you want to call into your life? So, when I think, it's very interesting. Pleasure is, in this particular triad of cards, I was wondering what it meant, and I sat and really thought about it, and the aha moment was understanding the physicality, the physiological body, our natural energy centers of our body. And everybody has them. Every body, every physical manifestation, every physiological manifestation has energy centers. And the physical human form has 9 physiological centers so far as we know. And the important part about this card is understanding that no matter whether you have a disability or you are all body abled or you have a physiological impairment, your energy still works through your physical manifestation. So you as a spiritual entity are borrowing, you're residing in your human temple. Your temple is given to you through Mother Earth. That is foundation. And you can call that Mother Earth, divinity, God, whatever makes you happy. But physical pleasure means the sensuality of the experience of the physical form, to see, to feel, to taste, to hear, to touch, right? See, hear, feel, taste, touch. I always miss one, and I always say one twice. Anyway. And the sensuality of pleasure of that experience, think of a little baby, okay? When little babies are little. It is not uncommon to have little babies who, when they're first born, the first couple weeks, they have these huge expressions when they poop, right? They are unabashed in their wailing when they're hungry, or if their tummy hurts, like, oh, why does my tummy hurt? This is an unpleasant, pleasurable situation, right? Like, pleasure, unpleasant. And there is a adjustment for the little entity inside that human body to get used to the human body. And that human body it could be very uncomfortable. What if that little one was a preemie and they had wires and hoses and tubes and things to keep it alive? It still needs, they know this in neonatal units, they know that the power of touch is so important. Our physiological bodies need other human touch. We need caresses, and we need warmth, and we need energetic, vibrational, energetic touch from one human to another. They've done these awful studies on monkeys that are just heart-wrenching to watch, but the difference between being touched by a living entity is vastly different than just being fed and washed mechanically without actual heartbeat and energy interaction. So pleasure is much deeper than just sexual pleasure. There is a pleasure connection between all of the sensation, to see something to give you pleasure, to hear music to bring you pleasure, to taste wonderful food to bring you pleasure, to touch each other, to smell the hormones of the pheromones of your partner, or your own pheromones. We all have our own pheromones. Those are all pleasure. All of them bring pleasure. They can bring other things too, but we're talking about pleasure. So the physical manifestation, the pleasure of being present and having all of those sensations come in on us. Then we have hawk. Watchful, all-seeing messenger of divinity. The sharp eyes of the hawk watch our every move. Keen-eyed bird has the ability to see every little detail as it appears. The winds are shifting. It is said hawk carries news upon its wings, sent from divinity itself to deliver it. The hawk is the messenger, right? The messenger of the depth of these cards that are coming in together. But hawk also is about the details. So I'd like you to think of it this way. Natural number one in our physiological activation centers is right here underneath the chin. If you think of a wild animal, somebody said it the other day and it struck me, and I want to hold on to that piece of information, which is you don't find animals in the wild baring their neck unless they are safe or they are submitting, right, to another animal or a higher authority in their tribe of the animal kingdom. The throat is a vulnerable place because that's your jugular, right? Natural number ones have the ability to see the minute detail and the beauty of the tiniest little detail of something from Earth. You know, a blade of grass is beautiful and unique and just absolutely the most beautiful, divinely connected item. And they can see the beauty in the minutia of these tiny little details, the tiny little grain of sand on the beach, versus all the other natural numbers that they need a sunset to be reminded that they are connected to divinity and that things are beautiful. And the hawk reminds me very much of that natural number one, the hawk of the minutia of the details of specificity in bringing our connection to pleasurable things, the sensations of every little new thing that comes into our world, the textures of what's around us, the smells that are around us, the light, the beauty that's around us. All of those things hawk brings into focus, okay? And then we have coyote. And coyote, the essence of coyote is providing detours for growth and understanding by ensuring that things don't go as planned. Brings the energy of divine deception to set you free from the shackles of that which doesn't serve you. It may appear that you will get everything you want, only to find that coyote brings you the opposite of what you hope for. The sacred obstacle for your highest good. So coyote, again, coyote is very powerful, has always been very powerful to me, because coyote is the best analogy I have. Those of you who understand a little bit about ADHD or someone who has many things going at one time like I do, there is a joke that goes around, go squirrel, oh, off we go in a different direction. But in reality, sometimes that squirrel is really the coyote. Because all of these experiences are part of what I have learned to understand is called flow. There's a man apparently doing a lot of research right now. Apparently there's a book that's been written that's called Flow. I have not read it yet. And flow is really a state or a place that you can go where you're working on a thing, time kind of flies by, and you get a huge amount of stuff done. You're in the flow of creativity. You're in the flow of getting work done. You're in the flow of focus. Natural number 3 friend that I have says, you know, once he gets all of his things together, he wants to do the thing, and he tries to make sure he has enough time to do the thing, and he just does the thing. But if you interrupt him, it's really hard to get back into it. And the way he describes it is he's describing flow. And many people, I guess the reason that they're researching it is that many people struggle to get into flow. And when they get into flow, if they get off of it, it's really hard to get back to it. And coyote is very interesting. Coyote energy for me is, here are all the things you could be doing, and every time you start them, coyote gets in the way. It's like, are you sure that's what you want to do? Because when coyote says, I can step back and I can let you go into the flow, coyote has led me to that. Coyote has said, here squirrel, here squirrel, here squirrel. Oh, here, there you go, you found it. And then coyote steps back. Coyote is the energy that is the oh squirrel moment, the distraction from the flow, the opportunity to do other things or go in a different path to learn a lesson that helps you know that when you hit flow, you have it. And in life, so I want to go into a real world example here. So in life, pleasure, experiencing something you absolutely adore and love, hawk the minutia, the details, the little pieces of that experience, and coyote, the branching path, like, oh, here we go, we're going to follow coyote over here, but that, geez, I don't know if that's really where I want to be, but I'm going to learn a lesson there. So when I left the hotel and I was really, really sick, well, I'm going to back up a little bit. So I was working in a medical clinic, and everything was great. I mean, not everything, but most things were great. And COVID happened, and I thought that I would probably be at that clinic for, I don't know, another couple years. There were goals that the doctor had, and moving clinics, and I was really excited about all these changes, but there was a shift in energy with COVID. And when COVID happened, what I call the dark time, it really sent the message pretty deep and clear to me that, you need to be doing what you're supposed to be doing. Like, quit giving all of your time and energy. This has been a great path for you. And coyote goes, hey, I'm back in your life, right? So when I left there and I started working on my business, and I started working more with Quantum Bloom, and, you know, really going pretty deep with it, one of the things that coyote brought me was options and opportunities. And through some of those options and opportunities, I had not traumatic experiences, but I did have experiences that made me question. Because coyote wants to bring in all the lessons, right? And I was missing a piece. I was missing a piece of the puzzle. And part of the piece of the puzzle was a detail within that pleasure area that I didn't understand that I was missing. And ironically, it wasn't even my own energy. It was somebody else's energy that was interfering with it. And so I didn't trust the process, and I didn't trust coyote. I didn't trust the lesson, and I gave up. And I gave up gradually, but the opportunity at the hotel came up, and I followed that flow. And very much like the essence of coyote was, are you sure? Okay. And I went with that. I trusted it. I wasn't paying attention to some of the details, especially with this card. Trusting my body, trusting what my body was telling me, trusting what my purpose. I wasn't trusting through my physical body truly. I was barreling past it like I always did. I was skipping the messages of the body, and I was ignoring the messages of the body, to the point where I got really, really physically sick. And Coyote was standing there in the shadow going, hey, it's the analogy in here where beware the shallow waters. Something or someone might pretend to be deep, but that doesn't make it so, no matter how seductive their superficial traits or how beautiful they sparkle or they appear. All the glitters will not turn up gold, no matter how many wishes you make to change that. The temptation, right? And it's not this Christian version of temptation of sin and evil and manipulation. It was the temptation of not following what I knew the flow would be. Like, flow is easy in a way that I shouldn't say it's easy. Flow is natural. It has this connection to body, mind, spirit that there are lessons along the way, and you still have to do work. It's not easy in that way, but it flows better. There's less things that come up. And I was pushing past. When I was working at the hotel, I was really pushing past my body. And my body was constantly telling me, stop, slow down, sleep more, do this, do that. And I just went too far too fast. And in a year and a half, 2 years, my body went, okay, you're done. You're done. And that being done, right? That really being done energy was what shut my body completely down. And when my body shut completely down, I didn't have that job anymore. I didn't have that. I had to go, okay, what am I going to do next? I mean, I could have probably gone back. They would probably have had me back. But I knew when I walked away, I had to just walk away. I had to trust the forward momentum of Coyote. I had to trust the path I couldn't see. The trickster goes back and forth across the path to give you a glimpse of squirrel all the time. But the path is still there. Coyote very rarely walks straight along in front of you, in front of your path. What Coyote does is runs across the path to illuminate and to show you the lessons that you need to pay attention to. And that's what Coyote was doing. Coyote had walked across my path, and instead of me going, oh, I see what you mean by that, I followed Coyote. And I followed Coyote into the next lesson. I probably could have not done that, right? But I did. And there were powerful lessons in that. There were reinforcements from my entire life that I walked away from that job realizing I hadn't trusted my body. I hadn't been paying attention to what my body's needs were and the things that make me happy. I also didn't pay attention to the details, the tiny little details of before, right? Before I got kind of fallen into that position. I hadn't followed the details, the signs and options that had been right in front of me. And so when I walked away from that, the shift was to listen, pay attention, do all the things, do the connecting things, and pay attention to the validating details. Because those validating details are very important. Coyote is present in all of our lives because Coyote, there are some really powerful stories about Coyote energy. And I think people walk away from Coyote with fear without understanding that Coyote can be the warning, hey, don't step there, there's a landmine. But Coyote can also be the one that illuminates the options. And illuminating the options doesn't mean, oh my God, you need to be afraid. Illuminating the options means you always have choice. And that choice is always a lesson. It doesn't mean you're gonna get off your blueprint necessarily, but it may mean that you segue for a while. Coyote energy is very powerful. And I challenge people when they hear the lessons of Coyote not to go to the place of fear. because fear traps you. Fear traps you in that karma cycle. Fear traps you in that place where you don't get out of the mind trap, right? Power of mind, I talk about that a lot. So it was very interesting to pull these three. I would be interested to know if when you saw these three, what you thought the message was, because I hope that I tied them together for you to help you understand a little bit. It's a little bit more of an advanced kind of like thought pattern, and it may not be one that you would have gone to naturally. So I would be interested to know what you thought pleasure, hawk, and coyote was about. So I hope you all have a beautiful day, and I will see you in prayer tomorrow. Blessed be.